こんにちは。スマイル日本語アカデミーのゆうこ先生です。In today's lesson, I'm going to teach you how to express the existence of things in Japanese. By the end of this lesson, you can say things like, I have cats but not dogs, or Do you have friends in Japan? This is a sample lesson from my online course, Japanese 3, Verbs and Particles.The course teaches you how to construct sentences with verbs and particles. It is a self-paced course and there is no time limit to complete the course. You can watch any lessons anytime, as many times as you want. The course also provides lots of PDF materials that you can download. And of course, I will always be there to answer your questions. You can learn Japanese at your own pace with my support.I also have 4 more courses from Japanese 1 to Japanese 5. The best place to get all the courses is to sign up for the complete package. You can find all the information in the description below. Okay, let's begin the lesson. では、始めましょう。Today we are going to learn a little different type of sentence.Up to now, we have been dealing with sentences like this one, right? 私は毎朝うちでお茶を飲みます。私は毎朝うちでお茶を飲みます。I drink green tea at home every morning. A quick review of 私は here.私は is not necessary when the topic of the sentence is I, and it sounds more natural without it in Japanese. So I'm going to drop it, okay? We also learned a sentence like this one. 8月に東京でオリンピックを見ます。8月に東京でオリンピックを見ます。I will watch the Olympics in Tokyo in August. So we have been using this type of verbs so far. Verbs like drink, watch, eat, study, or other verbs that indicate actions. These are called action verbs. When you do a certain action at a place, such as at home or in Tokyo,You have to mark the place as the place of action with the particle で. So you have already learned how to use action verbs in Japanese sentences. Now in this lesson, we are going to deal with a different type of verb. We are going to talk about existence and not actions. To do this, we first need to learn how to say exist in Japanese.Okay, here's something very important that you need to keep in mind when you use the verb exist in Japanese. Unlike English, we have 2 ways to say exist. Let me explain the difference, okay? The first one is when you talk about the existence of non-living things. For instance, tangible objects such as books or computers. Facilities,like hospitals or coffee shops. Abstract things like time or ideas, or events such as meetings, classes, or concerts. When you talk about the existence of those things, you use this one. あります。あります。The second one is when you talk about the existence of living things that move around. This is important, okay? It has to be something alive and mobile. Examples are people, animals, birds, and fish. For these things, you have to use this one. います。います。These are the 2 ways to say exist in Japanese. あります and います。Which one to use depends on the subject of the sentence. you have to see if it's a non-living thing or a living and a mobile thing. So what about plants and flowers? Which do you think you have to use when you want to say a tree exists, meaning there is a tree, for example? Right, you have to use あります. Why? Because trees, plants, and flowers don't move around even though they are alive. How about ghosts or spirits? Any guess which one Japanese people use when they say, "Oh, there's a ghost over there"? あります or います? We use います. The Japanese culture treats ghosts and spirits as living things without a physical body that move around with its own will. I hope you now understand the difference between these two kinds of exist, あります and います. Please remember that it also depends on how the speaker feels about the subject of existence. For instance, if a little girl deeply loves her teddy bear, she would use います to talk about it because to her, the stuffed animal is alive. So it also depends on how the speaker treats the subject of existence. Okay, let's start using あります and います in sentences. I'm going to cover two important steps that you need to follow when it comes to these two verbs. Please take notes if you can. Let's say there is a printer, and you want to say a printer exists, meaning there's a printer, or I have a printer. Printer in Japanese is プリンター. Printer in katakana. Step number 1. Mark the subject of the existence, which is a printer in this case, with the particle が. This particle が, just like many other particles, has multiple functions, and this is one of the functions, to mark the subject of existence. This is the main usage of the particle が in this course. So for now, please remember が as the subject of existence marker. So there's a printer, or I have a printer in Japanese is プリンターがあります. プリンターがあります. You do the same when you use います in your sentence. For instance, to say a friend exists, meaning there is a friend or I have a friend, you have to mark friend 友達 with the particle が and go like this. 友達がいます. 友達がいます. So this is the first step that you need to keep in mind when you use あります or います. Be sure to mark what exists with the particle が. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Step number 2. How to add a place of existence to your sentence. Let's say you want to say, I have a printer at home, or I have a friend in Tokyo. Home is うち, and then Tokyo is 東京, right? And this is the particle you have to use to mark these places. に. This に is a new function of this particle for you in this lesson. And here, it's the place of existence marker. When you have あります or います in your sentence, be sure to mark the place with the particle に. You cannot use the particle で here, okay? Do you know why? Because there is no action going on in these sentences. The particle で is the place of action marker, and when you mark a place with で, an action has to be happening in the sentence. It's not the case here, right? Nobody is doing anything in these sentences, so you cannot use で。Instead, you have to use に to mark these locations as the place of existence. The only exception is when you use あります for an event, because when you have an event, actions are usually involved at the event. That's the only time that you can mark a place with the particle で and then use あります in your sentence, like this. 明日、会社でミーティングがあります。I will have a meeting at the company tomorrow. I'm going to talk about this sentence pattern in the next lesson. So for now, do not worry about the place of an event, okay? Let's focus on the existence of things and people. Okay, now these sentences are complete. I have a printer at home in Japanese is うちにプリンターがあります。うちにプリンターがあります。I have a friend in Tokyo is 東京に友達がいます。東京に友達がいます。So far, through the courses Japanese 1 to 3, you have learned the particle に for 3 different functions. Particle に as a place of existence marker, as a time marker, and as a destination marker. Like this, one single particle is used for multiple functions in Japanese. You can never memorize a particle with one translation in English, okay? As you can see here, this ni means at, as in at home. This ni means in, as in August. And this ni means to, as in to the cafe. They are all different in English. So please never assign one English meaning to one particle. Instead, you have to pay attention to how the word functions in the sentence and then choose the correct particle to indicate that function. Okay, let's get back to あります and then います. Now you should be able to say this. How do you say, I have a cat at home in Japanese? Did you figure that out? Okay, this is how you phrase it. うちに猫が and since a cat is an animal, you have to choose います for its existence. うちに猫がいます。I have a cat at home. What about this? There are shrines in Tokyo. Shrine in Japanese is 神社. 神社. So how do you say there are shrines in Tokyo? Right. 東京に神社が and since it's a facility, you have to say あります。東京に神社があります。There are shrines in Tokyo. Now, what do you do when you want to say these sentences in the past tense? Any guess? Right. Just like any other verbs that you have learned in this course, you simply change the ending of it to ました. ました. So あります becomes ありました and います becomes いました for the past tense. That's it. What about negation? How do you convert あります and います into the negative form? Right. You change the ending to ません。The negative form of exist is ありません and いません。So I don't have a printer at home is うちにプリンターがありません。I don't have a cat at home is うちに猫がいません。These are completely grammatical sentences. However, many Japanese people also use the particle wa here instead of ga in these negative sentences. This is to highlight the contrast between the printer and the cat that you don't have versus many other things that you have. By using the particle wa, you are automatically implying that you don't have a printer or a cat, but you have other things at home. So here's the summary of the verb exist in Japanese. あります is used for the existence of non-living things, and います is used for living and mobile things. Let's review the two steps. Step number 1. You mark the subject of existence with the particle が, and then step number 2. Mark the location with the particle に. I posted the PDF version of this summary below this video, so please print it out for your reference later. Very good. Okay, before we close today's lesson, let me quickly cover how to ask the question, do you have? Now that you know how to use あります and います, it's easy to convert them into a question. As always, all you have to do is to add the question particle か at the end. That's it. So, do you have a printer at home in Japanese is うちにプリンターがありますか？うちにプリンターがありますか？ To answer yes, you say はい、あります。You repeat the same verb as in the question. はい、あります。To answer no, you respond with the negative. いいえ、ありません。いいえ、ありません。Likewise, do you have a cat at home is うちに猫がいますか？うちに猫がいますか？ To answer yes, you say はい、います。It's not はい、あります because the question is asking you about an animal with いますか? Be careful, okay? And to answer no, you say いいえ、いません。いいえ、いません。Let me ask you the questions. Please say your own answer aloud after I ask you each question, okay? うちにプリンターがありますか？そうですか。うちに猫がいますか？そうですか。Let's expand your response a little bit. When somebody asks you, うちに猫がいますか? You can also respond, はい、います。犬もいます。はい、います。犬もいます。Yes, I do. I also have a dog. Or, いいえ、いません。でも、犬はいます。いいえ、いません。でも、犬はいます。No, I don't, but I have a dog. よくできました。Well done in today's lesson. I hope now you feel comfortable using あります and います to express the existence of things in your life. Okay, to wrap up today's lesson, I'm going to ask you 3 questions, okay? Can you answer these questions? You can leave your own responses in the comment area. うちに ピアノがありますか？うちに猫がいますか？日本に友達がいますか？ Join my online courses and you can access tons of lesson videos like this one anytime you want. You can learn Japanese at your own pace in your spare time. Many learning platforms on the internet do not provide guidance from a real teacher, but in my online courses, I will always be there to answer your questions and support your learning. Find all the information in the show more section below. ではまた次のレッスンで会いましょう。